All right, everybody, I'm back again with another live stream with some news from throughout the day. It was a pretty big day for City on Twitter. We saw a lot of links, a lot of progress being made. Um, and today, here, I'm just going to look over everything, recap it, and then I will take a look as well at the Salford game this weekend in the FA Cup, maybe look at a lineup and see what's going on. But we pop off the morning here. I'm going to pull up City Extra to look at some Twitter activity. We'll start right here. Um, Report breaks that Frankfurt are looking at 80 million euros, while City feel that 50 to 60 is maybe more realistic, which is where I'm guessing we heard this 50 million mark earlier this week, and that was a little bit surprising to see 50 million, whereas Frankfurt are pushing for Champions League, and that Champions League money needs to be offset with this sale. So I mean, 80 million, I'm sure would get it done. I doubt City go that high, but we're moving a little different with Viana working here. I don't know how much is him versus how much is Cheeky right now, but it seems like we are willing to spend. So we will see. I'm guessing this gets done in the next couple of days. Hopefully, he is able to be on the lineup or at least on the bench for the Brentford game. Now, maybe this will get done around 65. Let's split the difference or so. Maybe a little closer to 70. I don't know. But it seems like we're back and ready to spend pretty big. Then last night, really out of nowhere, Vitor Heiss, I think is how you pronounce it. He starts popping off about City want to sign this kid. He's the next Thiago Silva. And I mean, reports are that it's not even going to be a purchase, and then we're going to loan him back to Brazil like we've maybe done in the past with Gabriel Jesus. We are just going to be incorporating him immediately if we can get him done in January. Palmeiras really want to keep him for the Club World Cup this summer, is what it seems like. But City are adamant. They want him now. They want him to join as soon as possible, is what Sam Lee reports here. And they value him at upwards of 25 million. That was this morning, but quickly that did change, and that evaluation has gone up apparently. Again, you see here that they want him signed for the first team immediately. We do see McFarlane formally announced later this month, which is cool, coming over from New York City here in America. But, of course, 17 years old, coming from MLS, not going to be a player for the first team probably for a couple of years. We do see some progress being made with Kusanov. That number continually changed as well. I mean, we saw 20 million originally, and City didn't want to pay that, and then there was some Madrid links, which ended up now they want 40 million. Again, this morning the reported was there's a 35 million euro pound evaluation. I don't know, but seems more progress with Kusanov there as well, with some Fabrizio tweets saying that with the eyes and with the and with Man City being heavily involved there. So I mean, again, another signing that looks likely. Maybe he is one that we loan back out. I don't know that we'd be buying two 20 and under defenders who are relatively, I don't want to say unknown, but more unknown to the fans. I'm sure the club have known about both of them for a long time. They got a scouting network all across the world. None of these guys are unknowns to them. But again, seems interesting to me with these deals and how they're progressing. Seems like Viana is very involved, and he was, of course, pictured in Manchester recently. Last night, fans stopped Cheeky and took a picture, and Viana was just kind of there on the side. Pretty cool. Again, you see right here, Palmeiras want 33 million after the initial reports are this 25. Again, ready for first team football. You see here, they might be cool with the 67 million. However, City want to spend no more than 50 for Marmoush. Again, it is what it is. I mean, the money you have to spend for quality is just what you have to do. So I'm cool. Spend whatever it takes. Get Marmoush, and I think he's going to be outstanding. Let's see what else is going on here. Of course, they did say Marmoush and City have full agreement on personal terms, which I'm sure is fine. That's never seemingly an issue. Man City are probably tripling his wages, something like that, putting him close to 100 a week, something like that. Here's that picture I was talking about. This guy, what a hero. He stops Cheeky for a picture, and then randomly in the back, Hugo Viana spotted. So he probably should have figured out a way to not get in this picture if he didn't want to be known. But anyway, there he is. City, again, here comes another report. The price has changed again. They don't want to pay the 40 million euros. Negotiations are not off, though, and it does seem likely that the deal is going to get done. But again, the money changes around consistently throughout the day. See Ruben Diaz back in training, which is great. And then this one came out of nowhere for the verbal agreement being met with 80 million euros. It looks like this source maybe is a hit or miss sometimes. Some people have said it's good. Some people have said not so good. So I don't know. I feel like 80 million euros is a bit high. But again, it's not my money. I don't really care. So let other fans cry about us spending money, when we have 115 charges. Seems like the actions of a club who are not too worried about the pending charges against them. Just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but it feels like you wouldn't be spending or ready to spend this much money if you felt like the case went poorly against you. Not saying we won't get found guilty or anything, but at least seemingly seems like they feel confident. This one is huge right here. You see Oscar Bob back in training. I would love to see maybe a 10, 15-minute cameo this weekend against Salford. But if he's not quite ready, no worries. Maybe get him on Brentford or even wait a little bit longer. You got to be careful with these injuries. I know it's a leg break, so maybe a little different than a tear or something like that. But seems like he's looking good and back in training. Very good to see. Now, there was some more important information here. We're looking at more tweets about Vitor Rice. Of course, they are now wanting 45 million, including bonuses, which again changes the money around. 45 million for an 18-year-old seems a bit high. Other than you see Endrick go for excess of 60, 70 million, but Endrick was known kind of by most of the footballing world. And he's got the hype of being Brazil's next big thing. I don't know if the hype is quite that high with Vitor Rice or Heiss or however you say his name, but 45 is a lot for sure. But maybe the City just have to pay extra to get him in January. That might just be how it is. And again, no problems for me. You do see Romano with the Uzbekistan flag. Seems like that deal is getting very close to done. And then recently, actually about an hour ago, City are still on the lookout for a defensive midfielder, according to Martin Blackburn at The Sun, which I think is a reliable source. I mean, there's 20,000 followers there. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong in the comments about Martin Blackburn, but I don't disagree with this, so I'm sure that is accurate, that we are on the lookout for a defensive midfielder, whether that's Ederson from Atalanta or Douglas Luiz from Juventus. Those are probably the two most heavily linked names that I've seen, at least. I would be more interested probably in Douglas Luiz. I don't know what kind of deal they'd be looking for. A loan with the option to buy would be good with me. I don't know about a mandatory buy option there, a buy clause. Because the only wariness I have is why is he not playing in Juventus? Is it a cultural thing where he hasn't adapted to the culture well, or is it something's gone on and he's lost his touch? I doubt he has become not good enough to play for Juventus when he was one of the best midfielders in the Premier League 2 years ago, last year. Seems like there's something else going on there. Maybe it's mental block or something. Maybe he just really enjoyed England and misses it and wants to come back. I don't know. But Lastly, we'll back to Husanov here. They now report that this is now up to 50 million, including bonuses. So I don't know. These numbers are all over the place. I don't know what to believe exactly, but probably fine with whatever Man City spent. It doesn't matter to me. Just at the end when they're holding up the jersey and they got the Man City kit, and we see the final figures and we can add everything up. But it is looking like it's going to be a pretty expensive overall window, upwards of 100, 150 million, if we do land all these targets here. And it could be 4, maybe even 5 players, which is going to be great for many people who are wanting this rebuild to get going now. It really should have started last summer and maybe even earlier than that. I do have Victor Rice pulled up here. This website normally compares to top 5 leagues, but because he's in the Brazilian league, it compares to the next 14 best competitions over the last year. So in that case, I'm not going to know who any of these players are over here on the right. But as far as the analytics on his scouting report here against those players, he is on the higher end of non-penalty goals, which is something you do like to see. He's probably good in the air, as noted down here with his aerials 1 being in the top 82nd percentile there in aerials 1. Clearances is top half, and tackles are high as well. Another green stat here being pass completion percentage, which is something that really attracts City. They love possession, of course. So I'm cool with the club says this guy's the next good up and coming center back. He's going to be something that we need in our first team, and he's ready for the team. No problems. I got no problems at all. Pay the dough. Get him in the squad, integrate him, use January to the summer as preseason, use the World Cup, the Club World Cup as preseason, and he's ready to go next year. Fine with me. Again, unfortunately, with these 2 center back signings, I do think that's probably JSP. He's getting no chance, no run. Just don't see how we're going to spend all this money. This is maybe 70, 80 million on these 2 20 and under kids. I don't see how JSP is ever going to get any minutes, which, maybe that's the way they feel. They just feel like he's not good enough. And that's the harsh reality of being an academy player for Manchester City. You got to be the best of the best or you're not going to make it. And there's nothing wrong with not making it. It's just, you are a token of, a way to increase our funds, and that's fine. That's how we operate. All right, so now those are most of the rumors and reports that I've seen throughout the day. I do want to talk a little bit about City and Salford this weekend. We have a couple of injuries here. Ederson is allegedly still injured. I don't know. Probably I don't really believe that. It seems like more of wanting to be gone, but whatever. Stones is out, of course. Oscar Bob says he is out, but he's back in training, so this could be a little bit inaccurate. And then Rodgers, of course, out. Diaz back in training as well, but there's no need to risk Diaz for this game here. So we'll pull this up. In goal, of course, we're going with Ortega. I don't see a world where Ederson's playing. It just seems super, super unlikely at this point. Right back, I'd be looking at Kyle Walker because we can give Rico a rest, and surely Walker's good enough to compete with Salford. Not a big deal, in general, and ideally he's not going to play a ton the rest of the year, so get him some minutes where we can rest other players. Center backs, this is where it gets interesting. I would like to see JSP here, and I don't think his character is available, so I'll do Nathan Ake here, and then rename him JSP. I'm happy with that because I don't think Ake will be playing. He's been playing injured recently, and so I doubt that he sees any minutes here. Next to him, I'm gonna go with Vardiol. I know he gets a ton of minutes all the time, constantly. But I don't know who else we can play here. Stones is out. Diaz is out. the options are Gvardiol or Akanji, and I don't know. Maybe we can give Akanji a rest here. This is Salford, so people might cook me for this, but I would have no problems with seeing Wilson Esbrand get a game get a game here. Surely he's good enough to get in 90 minutes and give our defense a bit of a break against Salford. I mean, there's no way in my mind he's not good enough for that. He played in, I believe, League On last year. So to me, surely he's fine against the League Two Salford. But Pep, I'm sure, wouldn't be happy with this, and maybe would go Gvardiol left and Akanji center back, or maybe Rico out left to not let him rest. But I don't know. That's what I would be doing. I'd be playing Wilson Esbrand. Into the midfield here, I think you certainly see Gundogan, probably. That would be my guess. His lack of athleticism probably is not maybe quite as noticeable against Salford, and hopefully he can put in a performance and get through 80, 90 minutes or so. I would like to see one of Jacob Wright or Nico O'Reilly here. And in general, I think Nico O'Reilly has been better than Jacob Wright from what I've seen. So I'm just going to throw O'Reilly there. There's been a lot of rumors about Grealish, and this being his last season here. Maybe that is the case. I would like to see Grealish in the 8. Here, give this a go, see how it goes. I don't know that would be happening or something that anyone's open to anymore because of his poor performances, and there's some rumors of off the field stuff and problems there. So I don't know, but me as a fan, I'd like to see Grealish in the 8. Surely he can do a job against Salford. He hasn't played in a while. He hasn't had a start in a while, so I don't know. Down the middle, I would be very open to resting Holland and going with Foden in sort of a false 9 type role here. So I'm cool with that. Out on the right, definitely be playing McAtee. I thought he was really good in the couple appearances he's had in the last few weeks or so. And if you wanted to, flip this and do something like this, that's fine as well with me. And maybe that's something that is interchangeable in the game. And then out on the left, I mean, your options are really Doku or Savinho. Savinho has been very good the last few weeks, so I'm gonna roll with him. He's young, hopefully doesn't need as much rest as some of our older players. Just get him in there and see how it goes. I don't know if this is what he would be looking at as far as Pep. 3 academy players seems unlikely, probably. But and I don't count McAtee as an academy player. I mean, he played in the Premier League last year for basically the full season, so he's not really an academy player to me. But O'Reilly, Wilson Esbrand, JSP. Wilson Esbrand realistically is not going to play. I understand, but that's what I would do at least. And if Akanji's fit, I'd give Gvardiol a rest instead of in playing him, just because he's one of our most played players this season. Regardless, whoever we put out there, surely we have enough quality and talent to just, run away with the game. I know Salford are doing pretty well in their league, but they are in League Two. We're Manchester City, and I know it's the FA Cup, and anything can happen. But I would be pretty shocked if we didn't put in a good enough performance to get a win. The FA Cup might be our only chance at a trophy this year with, league done and not doing so well in Champions League. So I'm happy with resting guys for Premier League because we need to secure top 4. That's the most important thing for me right now, that in the Champions League. I would love, of course, to win the FA Cup, but securing Champions League is more important in my mind. So Premier League returns Tuesday, Brentford. I'm saying rest as many players as you can. And get the young guys in. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going with a 3-0 win for City, regardless of playing the young guys or not. That's what I see happening. If we get into trouble, we've got some heavy hitters on the bench like Holland we can bring on, and I'm sure he'll be able to help us out there. But anyway, that's enough rambling from me. I do appreciate anybody that watches, especially all the way to the end. It's really cool doing this and having a good time talking to some City fans over here from America. But let me know what you guys think about my lineup or the transfers. Just leave me a comment or whatever, or follow me on Twitter. I try to post a lot on Twitter pretty much every day. So that's where I'm at most of the time. My Twitter is in the bio here. But whenever there's more news, whether it's tomorrow or Saturday at the Watch Along, I will be there. So I appreciate it. See you guys